Nice. Woo woo. Welcome to the. I don't know. There's still no name for any of this, is there? It's just me, the camera, and you checking out this video. And today we switch it up. We chose the backdrop of this little nook in my room over here where I sport a garment rack. And of course, on the other side, I got this great message: achieve and believe, or believe and achieve, It's one and the same. And all the ensemble to keep my room like the way I like it. And then, I chose here because it's sunny. And this is where I've been sitting. And that brings me to my first point in this video of deciding how to set up not just the day, but the week and the month and everything with the right space. And that's something that we call feng shui. Having the right flow in the space that we are in really will catapult us in the best direction. And it comes down to everything. It comes down to how our space feels atmospherically, in the sense of like temperature and the conditions of like what the air is like, and to the point of view and what the air is filled with. I got some Black Keys playing in the background right now, Way to Love, and that puts me in a spirited mood. And while all this is in the air, I can control more things that help me feel like myself more. And again, propel me in the direction that I feel healthiest and strongest in. And that's why I position myself to capture all this beautiful sunlight. Wow, she is dazzling and makes me feel in a good mood. So by setting myself up with just those two things alone, do I feel like a much stronger version of myself? Because it's not every moment that we feel, or that I feel, like the best version of me. Like this very eccentric, outgoing version that is being captured on film right now is not always around. And that's human. And I recognize that about myself. So in order to continue putting myself, the best version of myself, like forward, do I have to do things like make sure my room is kept and make sure it's scented and all these little things that add up to essentially what is the best version of me. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Norman. Nice to meet you. I am an aspiring Samaritan and a global citizen, and this is part of my journey. So today I have been writing and capturing that writing vlog style now. Writing was, I finished up a piece of writing, a chapter that I call Our New Home. And I'm an artist, and if I don't create something, I seem to go wild. Like in a sense where artistry is like an outlet for me, or even a release. Because it's funny, because I say outlet, like I can plug in and like I connect, but I also feel like it's a release in the sense that it lets something escape from me. So art tends to do a lot of things personally. And I want to share it today, what I wrote, because I feel it has a strength and reflect on what I've reflected. And that's pretty meta, right? And I say that because what I wrote today is a reflection of my inner world. And then capturing on videos, like I get to double down on that. And that's powerful. We do that every day with people watch YouTube videos and they're checking it out like, whoa, that's crazy. How can that happen? So this is just a way to further connect with me. And if I'm connecting with me, I feel like I connect with people better. Not even in the sense that people are viewing what I'm doing, but in the sense of like, all right, this is where my thoughts were as I put them down. And then, all right, this is me recognizing the thoughts that I put down. So I have layers of self-awareness, and that feels good. And I guess the whole point of sharing this video isn't to necessarily recapture or reproduce or even emphasize the writing that I did in the subjects, but it's more like to share this tool of self-reflection, and that we can layer it, and with deeper self-reflection, we can call this deep work at the end of the day. Like that deep shadow work, if you're familiar with that particular nomenclature, the shadow work that it's not always easy to talk about shadow work, because all too often I feel it is connotated with a negative subject matter. Like we're healing ourselves or reaching into ourselves that isn't necessarily healthy or the best version. And we call it shadow work, I believe, because it's something buried in us that has to reach the surface, that there has not been light shined upon, and it needs to go through some sort of enlightenment. And even the good things can be considered shadow work. So here I am, shining upon the good reflection I already had, and shining upon the healthy tools and methods that I use to maneuver through who I am. And just like everyone else, I'm figuring out who I am, in the sense that there's a future version of me that I'm excited to become. And compared to who I am now, I notice the gap, the void that's in between it, and I'm always pursuing and building that version of me. And day to day, figuring it out that this is what I want to be like, this is what I don't want in my life, that's the kind of energy that should be around me, and the goals that are worth living for. So it's always easier to shape up my day as I just put it out. Like, instead of just having it in my head and all these thoughts swimming, I can say, hey, there it is, and I kind of hear it for myself. So it's cathartic and releasing and constructive as just getting on film and saying all this is for myself. Ultimately, I get on here to kind of be an example, or better put, to show how it works for me to feel better. And that's the magic of what I think being a creator is. In essence, being who I am, whether it's on film, on paper, or on canvas. And that's all that I kind of see as life is pushing who we are because we've seen someone either do it or something has inspired us to think beyond what currently the status quo provides. And circle back with how I started this video. This has all been made so that I can think like as who I envisioned myself to be years ago. I pictured myself to be this creator, this artist, living in Providence, Rhode Island, USA. And I envisioned this healthier body and envisioned this attire that I'm wearing. Like, it's a very fun shirt, gifted from an old friend. And the more things that like align with my goals and who I in the past strive to be, and then like I fill in those characters and those qualities, do I feel at least and happily more content with myself. And just that contentness of like, oh, I reached that goal of who I wanted to become, and then now here I am. Do I feel invigorated to share the message. Like, well, the message for today is set up the feng shui of your life so that then we can further produce who we are. And I'm very content in who I am in this moment, sitting in the sunshine, enjoying the backdrop of my room. Like, this is kind of everything that I dreamt of at one point, and it becomes a launching pad to the next feng shui that I dream of, which it's now that I'm older, it's like, wow, see all the possibilities that we can be. And in our youth, there, purely by experience, is less possibilities to envision. We can always dream of being a teacher or an astronaut or a president. And then as we grow up, we see more things to become. So years ago, I wanted to be a writer, a videographer, and a film director. So this has come to the conclusion of those goals. And even though I didn't land on the moon, I'm figuratively still landing on the stars. And my goals have brought me to this adjacent goal of being a content creator, which is a writer, videographer still, and I'm aiming at a couple other projects here that I feel is very tuned into what Providence, Rhode Island is about here in the USA. And I'm hoping that as I learn to create more and hone who I am and the spectrum of emotions tied into each attribute that I find myself wielding, can I then share the story and also talk with other people about sharing the story, because in person, in practice, at the moment is always the most energizing thing that I can think of. Sure, I enjoy myself talking on camera, and because I'm friends with myself and I'm friends with the moment, and well, it just doesn't add up the same as in when sharing it with someone that you call a good friend or, you know, quality company. And these kinds of conversations I'm going to aim to have with more people, like I said, in person, rather than just myself talking to myself. You know what that's like, right? Yes, don't listen to your therapist. They're going to say those voices are got to be put to sleep. Just kidding. I am no therapist, so don't let me steer you wrong. But the joke there is that, yeah, we should listen to our internal dialogue. Because that's who we are with at the end of the day and every morning. And we want to be happy with that voice in our head. And I'm thankful that I get to be here today, sharing these messages in my feng shui. And that's it for now. And I hope that everyone out there has a great day and figures out how to set up their days to propel them even further for even better. Like I said, I'm Norman. Stay well.